Blood dripped onto the imported Italian tile as Zephyr clutched her pregnant belly, staring at the locked bedroom door separating her from her husband and his lover. She could hear them laughing inside, mocking her pain while her water broke in the hallway at 2 a.m. This was the moment everything changed. This was the moment a scared wife became a warrior who would burn an empire to ashes. Before we dive into how Zephyr destroyed a billion-dollar dynasty and sent an entire family to prison, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications because this story has more twists than you can imagine. Trust me, you need to see how this ends. Drop a comment telling me what you would do if your in-laws threw you out while you were in labor. Now let's get into this insane story. Zephyr Holloway was 27 when she met Cashin Rothwell at a tech conference in San Francisco. She was a cybersecurity analyst, brilliant with code and digital forensics, working for a mid-sized firm. Cashin was 33, charming, devastatingly handsome, heir to Rothwell Industries, a tech conglomerate worth $4.2 billion. He pursued her relentlessly, showing up at her office with rare orchids, taking her to jazz clubs, telling her she was different from the shallow socialites he usually dated. For 8 months he made her feel like the center of his universe. When Cashin proposed on a yacht in the Mediterranean, Zephyr thought she'd found her fairy tale. The wedding was extravagant, 400 guests, ice sculptures, a performance by a Grammy-winning artist. Zephyr wore a custom gown that took 6 months to create. She felt like royalty for exactly 1 day. The Rothwell estate was overwhelming, 52 rooms sprawling across 15 acres. Cashin's mother, Magnolia Rothwell, ran the household with military precision. She was elegant, cold, and terrifying. From day one, Magnolia made it clear that Zephyr was an outsider. She'd inspect Zephyr's clothing choices before family events, commenting that certain styles were too urban or not refined enough. She'd correct Zephyr's table manners in front of guests. She had the household staff report on Zephyr's activities daily. Cashin's father, Sterling Rothwell, treated Zephyr like furniture, looking past her at dinner, never addressing her directly. His sister Celestine was cruel in more creative ways. She'd plan family gatherings and forget to tell Zephyr the dress code, so Zephyr would arrive underdressed or overdressed. She'd make jokes about Zephyr's hair, her background, her education, all disguised as friendly teasing that cut deep. But Zephyr tried. She took etiquette classes from the same instructor who trained European royalty. She volunteered at their charity foundation, working 60-hour weeks to prove her worth. She studied wine, art, classical music, everything she thought would make them accept her. Nothing worked. When Zephyr discovered she was pregnant, she thought it would change everything. She announced it at Sunday brunch, her voice shaking with hope. Magnolia's face went pale. Sterling actually stopped eating. Celestine dropped her mimosa, and it shattered orange juice spreading across the white tablecloth like a warning. Cashin looked panicked, not happy, not excited, panicked. He excused himself immediately, pulling out his phone as he walked away. That's when Zephyr knew something was catastrophically wrong. That night, Zephyr couldn't sleep. She heard Cashin in his study at midnight, his voice tense and angry. She crept down the hallway and pressed her ear to the door. A woman's voice came through the speaker, desperate and demanding. "You promised me we'd be together by now, Cashin. You promised you'd handle this." My stomach started showing. People are asking questions. Zephyr's blood turned to ice. She stood there, 6 weeks pregnant, and felt her entire reality crumbling. She started investigating, using her cybersecurity skills to access Cashin's email and phone records. What she found destroyed her. Cashin had been in a relationship with Sloan Ashford, Rothwell Industries' chief marketing officer, for 5 years. They'd been together before he even met Zephyr. Sloan was from old money, the kind of family that summered in the Hamptons and had ancestors on the Mayflower. She was exactly what the Rothwells wanted for their son. The marriage to Zephyr had been strategic. Zephyr's firm held proprietary encryption technology that Rothwell Industries desperately needed. Marriage was faster than acquisition negotiations. Once they got access to the technology through Zephyr's connections, she became expendable. The baby was an inconvenience they hadn't planned for. Zephyr kept digging, copying files, documenting everything, and what she found went far beyond a simple affair. Rothwell Industries was involved in massive financial fraud, embezzling $480 million from investors through shell companies. They were bribing government officials for contracts, manipulating stock prices, laundering money through fake charitable foundations. And Sloane wasn't just Cashin's mistress, she was the architect of the entire criminal operation, with Sterling's full knowledge and participation. At 4 months pregnant, Zephyr followed Cashin to a penthouse downtown. She watched from her car for 2 hours as rain pounded the windshield. When they emerged, Sloane was clearly pregnant too, maybe 5 months along. They kissed on the street, Cashin's hand protective on her belly in a way he never touched Zephyr. She took photos, her hands shaking, tears mixing with rain on her face. When Zephyr confronted him, Cashin didn't even pretend. Sloane understands our world, Zephyr. You never did. You were always temporary. The baby complicates things, but we'll handle it. Handle it. Like her pregnancy was a business problem to solve. By 8 months pregnant, Zephyr's life had become a nightmare. Magnolia called a family meeting where she slid divorce papers across the marble conference table. You'll get $75,000 and sign away all parental rights. Take it or leave with nothing. Celestine smirked from the corner. Did you really think you belonged here? You were a diversity hire for the family. A box to check. Sterling spoke for the first time directly to Zephyr. Take the money. It's more than someone like you deserves. Then Sloane walked in, visibly pregnant, and Zephyr's world exploded. Sloane was 6 months along now, glowing, confident, everything Zephyr wasn't. Cashin stood immediately, kissing Sloane in front of his pregnant wife. This is who was always meant to be here, he said. Magnolia smiled. Sloane's child will be the true Rothwell heir. Yours will have no claim to this family or this fortune. Zephyr refused to sign. She looked at each of them and said one word. No. That's when they made her life hell. They moved her to the servants' wing, a tiny room near the industrial kitchen that smelled like bleach and old grease. They gave her 1 meal a day, calling it a pregnancy diet plan. They canceled her medical appointments and removed her from the family's health insurance. Sloane moved into the master suite, wearing Zephyr's jewelry, redecorating the nursery Zephyr had carefully designed, painting over the soft lavender walls with stark white. Zephyr would see them together constantly, kissing in hallways, holding hands at breakfast, laughing at inside jokes while she sat alone in her small room, her baby kicking against her ribs. At 9 months pregnant, Zephyr woke at 1:30 a.m. to excruciating pain. Her water had broken, soaking through the thin mattress. Contractions hit immediately, hard and fast, every 3 minutes. She screamed for help, stumbling into the hallway, leaving a trail of blood and fluid on the expensive carpet. Magnolia appeared in a silk nightgown, looking annoyed rather than concerned. You're being dramatic, Zephyr. First babies take forever. Go back to your room. Please, Zephyr gasped, doubled over. Something's wrong. The pain, it's too much. Please call an ambulance. Magnolia turned and walked away, her heels clicking on marble, leaving Zephyr alone in the dark hallway. Zephyr crawled to Cashin's bedroom, each movement agony. She pushed open the door and found him in bed with Sloane, both looking irritated at the interruption. Cashin, please, Zephyr sobbed. The baby's coming. I need help. I'm bleeding too much. He glanced at Sloane, who rolled her eyes dramatically. Can't you see we're trying to sleep? Sloane said. Maybe this is nature taking care of our problem. Zephyr stared at them, truly seeing them for the first time. Monsters wearing human faces. Magnolia called security at 2:45 a.m., removed this woman from the property immediately. 2 security guards, looking deeply uncomfortable, helped Zephyr to her feet. Celestine filmed the whole thing on her phone, laughing. This is going in the family archives, she said. They dragged Zephyr outside into the freezing November rain. She was screaming, crying, begging them to call 911. They dropped a suitcase at her feet on the circular driveway. Magnolia stood in the doorway, dry and comfortable. You were a business transaction, dear. A merger that's now dissolved. That baby will never have the Rothwell name or access to our wealth. Sterling appeared beside her. You should have taken our offer when you had the chance. The iron gates closed. Zephyr collapsed on the wet pavement, alone in labor with nowhere to go. But someone was watching. Dr. Thaddeus Morrison, a retired federal prosecutor living in the neighboring estate, had heard the screams. He rushed out in his bathrobe and found Zephyr convulsing on the ground. Dear God, what have they done? He got her into his car and drove 90 miles per hour to the hospital, calling ahead to have a team ready. Zephyr gave birth to her daughter, Ember, at 4:23 a.m. She was perfect, tiny, healthy, with her mother's eyes and her father's dark hair. Zephyr held her and wept, overwhelmed with love and terror. "I have nothing to give you, baby girl. Nothing." Dr. Morrison sat beside her hospital bed, his expression grave. "Young lady, what they did tonight wasn't just cruel. It was criminal. And I'm going to help you destroy them." Dr. Morrison had a personal vendetta against the Rothwells. 20 years ago, they destroyed his daughter's company through corporate espionage, driving her to bankruptcy and depression. He'd been waiting for an opportunity for revenge. Zephyr was his chance. "What do you have on them?" he asked. "Everything," Zephyr whispered. "I have everything." The files Zephyr had copied contained irrefutable evidence. Rothwell Industries had embezzled nearly $500 million, hidden in offshore accounts and shell corporations. They'd bribed senators and congressmen for government contracts worth billions. They'd engaged in insider trading, securities fraud, and money laundering. Sloan had orchestrated most of it, creating an intricate network of fake companies and falsified records. But the most explosive discovery came when Zephyr dug deeper into Sloan's background. Sloan wasn't just having an affair with Cashin. She was also sleeping with Sterling, Cashin's father. The baby Sloan was carrying wasn't Cashin's at all. DNA evidence Zephyr had obtained from a private investigator proved the child was Sterling's. Sloan's plan was diabolical. She'd seduce Sterling first, gaining access to company secrets and financial records. She'd used that information to position herself as indispensable. Then she'd started an affair with Cashin to secure her position in the family. Her ultimate goal was to have Sterling's baby, pass it off as Cashin's, and eventually control the entire company when Sterling retired. Celestine was in on it, promised a massive payout in the CFO position once they pushed Cashin out. Dr. Morrison and Zephyr built their case meticulously over 6 months. They filed for divorce, full custody, and child support. But that was just the legal cover. The real attack came from multiple directions simultaneously. Zephyr anonymously sent all financial evidence to the FBI, Securities and Exchange Commission, and Internal Revenue Service. She sent the recordings from that horrific night to every major media outlet: CNN, NBC, The Washington Post, The New York Times. She created an anonymous Twitter account and started posting evidence piece by piece, creating a viral sensation. The video of Zephyr being dragged out of the mansion while in labor went viral in 6 hours, reaching 67 million views in 48 hours. The hashtags Rothwell Monsters and Billionaire Cruelty trended worldwide for a week. Public outrage was massive. Rothwell Industries stock crashed 42% in 2 days. Major investors pulled out billions. The board of directors called emergency meetings. Then came the court date. The courtroom was packed with media, spectators, and protesters holding signs saying "Justice for Zephyr." The Rothwell family arrived looking arrogant, dressed in expensive designer suits, acting like they were untouchable. Cashin and Sloan sat together, actually holding hands. Magnolia wore cream-colored Chanel, looking like she was attending a garden party. Zephyr arrived in a simple navy dress, carrying 6-month-old Ember. She looked each of them in the eye and smiled, a knowing, confident smile that made Cashin shift uncomfortably. Dr. Morrison stood before the judge and played the full audio recording from that night. The courtroom heard Zephyr screaming in pain, begging for help. They heard Magnolia's cold refusal. They heard Sloan's cruel suggestion that nature might solve their problem. 3 jury members were openly crying. Others looked furious. Magnolia started to stand, yelling that the recording was taken out of context. The judge held her in contempt immediately and threatened to have her removed. But Dr. Morrison wasn't finished. He played a second recording. Sloan and Sterling in a hotel room, discussing their affair, discussing the baby's true paternity, discussing how they'd push Cashin out of the company and take control. How Sterling planned to divorce Magnolia and marry Sloan once everything was in place. How they'd been planning this elaborate scheme for 3 years. Cashin's face went white as paper. He lunged across the courtroom toward his father, screaming obscenities. Security had to physically restrain him as he tried to attack Sterling. Magnolia fainted, collapsing onto the courtroom floor. Celestine started screaming at Sloan. Realizing she'd been betrayed too, the dignified Rothwell family descended into complete chaos, attacking each other while cameras captured everything. Then came the final devastating blow. Dr. Morrison presented DNA evidence proving that Sloane's baby wasn't Cashin's child. The baby was Sterling's. Sloane had been playing everyone, sleeping with both father and son, manipulating the entire family for years. The courtroom erupted. Cashin broke down completely, sobbing. Magnolia, who'd regained consciousness, started screaming at Sterling. Celestine attacked Sloane physically, pulling her hair before bailiffs intervened. The perfect, powerful Rothwell family was destroying itself in open court while the world watched. The judge ruled in Zephyr's favor on every single count. Full custody of Ember with Cashin having supervised visitation only 2 hours per month. A $22 million settlement plus ownership of 3 properties. A public apology from the entire family to be published in major newspapers. Permanent restraining orders against all of them. And the judge made a personal statement calling their treatment of Zephyr one of the most unconscionable acts of cruelty she'd witnessed in 30 years on the bench. But the criminal charges were even more satisfying. As they left the courthouse, FBI agents arrested Sloane Ashford on charges of securities fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. She was dragged away in handcuffs, screaming, her perfect composure finally shattered. Sterling was indicted on 47 counts including bribery, money laundering, and tax evasion. Magnolia was charged as an accessory to fraud for helping cover up the financial crimes. Cashin, though not criminally charged, lost everything when his family cut him off completely, blaming him for bringing Zephyr into their lives. Rothwell Industries filed for bankruptcy 8 months later. The scandal was too massive to recover from. 4,800 employees lost their jobs. The company's assets were liquidated to pay back defrauded investors. The Rothwell name became synonymous with corruption and cruelty. Where are they now? Sterling is serving 15 years in federal prison. Magnolia is under house arrest in a modest apartment, a far cry from the estate, suffering from severe depression and anxiety. Cashin works as a sales associate at a tech startup, living in a studio apartment, paying child support every month. He sees Ember once a month for exactly 2 supervised hours. Celestine was blacklisted from corporate America, last working as an assistant manager at a retail store. And Sloane, she's serving 18 years for fraud and embezzlement. Her daughter is being raised by her estranged mother in another state. And Zephyr? She founded Justice Tech, a nonprofit that helps women escape abusive families using digital forensics and legal support. She lives in a beautiful home she bought with her own money in a different state, far from the Rothwells. Ember is now 3 years old, happy, smart, completely unaware of the darkness surrounding her birth. Zephyr found love again with Isaiah, a trauma counselor who works with her nonprofit. He's kind, gentle, genuine, everything Cashin pretended to be. They got married last year in a small ceremony surrounded by real love, not fake opulence. Zephyr is pregnant with their second child, due in 4 months. This time she's surrounded by people who cherish her. Zephyr wrote a book called Encrypted Revenge that became a bestseller, exposing corporate corruption and family abuse. She speaks at conferences about resilience, about fighting back, about using your skills to protect yourself. The book's being adapted into a limited series. They thought throwing her out while she was in labor would break her. They thought she was helpless, weak, and easy target. They underestimated her intelligence, her determination, and her capacity for strategic revenge. That was their fatal mistake. Here's what Zephyr learned and wants you to know. Revenge isn't emotional, it's strategic. It's not about anger, it's about patience and evidence. When powerful people hurt you, don't react immediately. Document everything. Build your case carefully. Then strike from multiple directions simultaneously so they can't defend themselves. Use their arrogance against them. Let them think they've won while you're preparing their destruction. If this story inspired you, if it made you angry, if it gave you hope, I need you to do something right now. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe and turn on all notifications because we post stories like this every single week. Stories of people who refuse to be victims. Stories of underdogs who took down giants. Stories that prove you're never as powerless as they want you to believe. Drop a comment right now telling me what would you have done in Zephyr's situation? Would you have signed those divorce papers? Would you have fought back? And share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone going through their own battle. Someone who needs to know that their darkest moment can become their greatest comeback. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. They can take your comfort. They can take your money. They can even take your dignity temporarily. But they can only take your power if you give it to them. And Zephyr refused. She refused to disappear. She refused to be silent. She refused to let them win. Look at her now, living proof that survival is the best revenge. Remember, you are not helpless. You are not powerless. You are not defeated unless you choose to be. Gather your evidence. Build your case. And when the time is right, burn their world down. Stay strong. Your comeback is coming.